here in the perimeter, there are no stars. Out here, we is stoned, immaculate.
Hello and welcome. This is the C86 show. I'm David Eastaugh. As you know, we'd love a special guest. This week it's going to be the turn of Steve Nieve, who I spoke to very recently to find out more about life, love, poetry and all that other groovy stuff. Has been with Elvis Costello as part of the attractions and is still playing with him and has got live dates coming up this summer. And is also doing solo projects with Kessada, who in this interview does join us sort of halfway, three-quarters way through the interview, so you'll hear more about that project. And also he's got some live dates in April as a solo artist. One on Saturday, April the 18th, and this is going to be at the West Hampstead Art Centre, so do check it out. But this is the interview, so after several minutes of interest and casual chat, we get down to the exciting subject of the early formative years. Steve, it's over to you.
Well, speaking about David Bowie, that was I've had many musical awakenings, but David Bowie, I was fortunate enough to play on one of his songs, which was called Absolute Beginners.
Ooh.
And I do have the feeling always to be an absolute beginner. So I really loved playing on that song. And
yes.
It was a huge experience because at the same time, we didn't know that this was going to happen, but it was the time of Live Aid.
Yes.
And after we had recorded Absolute Beginners, David said to everyone in the studio, I've got a very special friend coming in a moment, and we're going to record this song. And he put the song of Dancing in the Street on and told us any minute now Mr. Jagger is going to appear.
Right.
So we recorded Dancing in the Street for the Live Aid.
You were there because was that with were there quite a few members of Prefab Sprite in that band as well?
There was indeed. Sadly, one who's no longer with us. But the thing about it is that it gave me a huge work to do because he had made an amazing demo of Absolute Beginners, and we had to. My job was to do all the synthesizers on it.
Yes.
The string synthesizer. So it was great.
That was a time with just going back to your experience with Dancing in the Street. So that was that produced by Clive Langer?
Yes. So this was the reason, really, I probably was involved. But it might also have been that my friend Kevin Armstrong was involved.
Right, on guitar.
I don't remember now completely how that happened, but that was
yes. Well, it was quite amazing. And I did an interview with a young producer at the time called Mark Saunders, who seemed to be quite involved with that production and experience. And he had some quite amusing memories of that.
At the time of, I think it might have been when, at some point he posted a whole thing about his memory of that session, right? Do you remember?
Yes.
And it was very funny because I wrote to him and said, it's not how I remember it, Mark. And it's funny how memories of certain moments for certain people are very different. And he seemed to remember the vocals on Dancing in the Street going down very simply. And I remembered a detail that maybe it was just my wicked mind, but I seem to remember that they recorded their vocals and then we listened back line by line. And, Clive said, I like version A or I like version B. And David said, yeah, I agree with you. And on every time Mick said, Clive said, version A I think sounds great. So Mick said, we'll use version B. And this is my memory that he deliberately chose, the opposite take.
Right.
because they were both brilliant, so it didn't really matter. But
I do remember Mark saying that Clive was quite drunk at quite a lot of the time, so he sort of found himself sort of being in quite a lot of kind of in charge of it. And actually, the two vocalists.
I don't recall Clive being drunk during that session. I really don't.
Right.
So that's another strange memory change.
Memory change.
The
But
weird thing
also,
is that no one had mobile phones in those days, so there are no photos of that session.
and then, but did you come across what Mark posted decades later, where he'd got the recording of David Bowie doing impersonations of other
Yes,
people?
I heard that. Yeah, it was incredible.
Yes,
It was
which
lovely.
was it was quite amazing to sort of hear that little bit. Yes, the height of 80s Britain, really, wasn't it? Actually, Absolute Beginners and then Live Aid, obviously. So yeah, that must have been quite a sort of a moment to sort of find yourself in that sort of company during that time, really. So but going back earlier then, when did your musical moment start? In the sort of, was it the 60s, the late 60s, you became curious and fascinated with music at that stage?
Yeah, I've always been sort of drawn towards keyboards, really. And at one point, when I was growing up as a kid, I also liked to sing, and I was always in the church choir. I kind of miss being in a choir, actually. I need to look into getting back.
Yes.
There was one year, I've written a song about this recently, because one year, instead of going on my summer holiday, I went to sing at Westminster Abbey, in the choir of Westminster Abbey.
Right.
And this was quite an extraordinary experience for me. We had to sleep in the school that's right beside the Abbey, and so every hour Big Ben rings. So sleeping in that dormitory was a little difficult. But
Yes.
at one point, I got to play the organ of Westminster Abbey. I don't know how old I was. I was probably 14 or 15. And when I got up to the keyboard and I was sitting on the stool, one of the stops on that organ has got my actual family name on it.
Blimey.
This is quite exciting because my real name is Nason, Nason.
Yes.
And so one of the stops on that organ is a Nason stop. It's quite a rare stop. There's not a lot of organs that have them. And this shows that my family were probably organ builders in Flemish countries.
Right. My God, that's quite a history you got there. Yes. And then, and who were you sort of early, were you listening to during those formative 60s period?
Well, I don't think things were very different then. You could only really listen to records that you had. We didn't have Spotify or anything like that.
Well, no, it was always very. We were sort of. Were you sort of somebody who sort of veered into the world of classical and jazz music as well as pop music?
No, I was quite often listening to pop music. I think my mother liked pop music.
Right.
I don't think my dad liked it.
Yes.
So I think my dad had a big collection of classical records and things like Bruckner and serious music, and my mother had 45 records of songs that she liked, and so that meant that I received two different sides of the music world.
Well, quite. Did you what was the first single you bought then at this time? Was it something from the early 70s period?
Well, it probably was a T-Rex record, if I bought it. But we had a lot of Beatles records, so one of my parents must have liked the Beatles.
Right.
I think it was my mother. So I definitely had, and for Christmas I remember getting those. The compilation album, the blue one, and the red one.
Oh yes, looking over the banister.
Yeah. So I had those albums, but then I started buying albums like I had a couple of Led Zeppelin albums. Just
Did you get drawn into the world of prog rock at all at this point? Because you would have been almost the perfect age for
not
sort
until a bit later on when I went to secondary school did I get involved in that, because most of the people at my school were prog rock fans,
right.
and I wanted to be in a band more than anything. I know that. And I found a guy who played guitar, but the only thing he was interested in playing at the time was Yes. And so he had learned all the complicated riffs of Yes, and trying to get him to play one of my songs was a bit tricky.
Yes. Were you already writing songs at this point?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And
This is the thing, is that I've always thought of myself really as a composer rather than a pianist.
Right.
And when it comes to playing the piano, I always feel that when I'm playing the piano, I am composing. I'm not playing a score that's been written for me.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm trying to inject a little something.
Yes.
So.
And what keyboard players were you particularly drawn to at that stage? Did you have Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, or Rick Wakeman's King Henry, or King Arthur?
Both of them did cross my horizon.
Right.
I know for a fact. The first time I went to the youth club, Funeral for a Friend came on.
Right.
Very loud, and it was amazing.
Yes.
What a great track that is.
Well, I thought the whole album, especially side 4, works quite incredibly, and it's got such an amount of sort of, I don't know, romantic melancholia through it, but the lyrics and the instrumentation is just amazing to have managed to sort of pull off such a masterpiece at still quite a young age was quite something.
Yeah.
And did you? And was the sort of the singer-songwriter sort of people, like your Laurel Canyon?
I didn't have any desire really to be on stage until I had the idea to join a band. But I didn't try to do that when I was younger. No.
Yeah. Did you, when you got to 16, which would have been like the mid-70s, did you leave school at that age, or did you go on to A-levels?
Yeah, I went on to A-levels, and then I went to the Royal College of Music for a year.
Right.
And so I wasn't really the type that would, leave school and go playing gigs. I wasn't that type.
No, not at all. And then sort of how did sort of that moment where you went from sort of the early 70s to punk, was that a musical moment that you thought, oh, this is exciting, or was it something that you thought, not quite sure where this is?
I wasn't even aware that was going on, really. I think I was just, I wanted to get involved. I wanted to be in a band and to play that kind of music, electric music. But that was all. I wasn't following the punk scene or anything like that.
Yes. So how did you become part of the Attractions? How did that sort of moment come? Because you worked on this year's model. Before that, My Aim Is True, isn't it? But that had was that members of Clover who had Louis Hewis?
Yes. So we got together after My Aim Is True had been recorded, I think. I played on a track called Watching the Detectives. That was the first thing I ever did. And that made its way onto My Aim Is True. But really the first album really I got involved with, I suppose, would be This Year's Model.
Yes. And then this was the band. Did you all come together, sit down and feel we're a unit here, we're a gang?
I don't think we thought about it. We just, we just got on that thing, and once we were on it, that was what was occupying our brains at that time.
Well, yes. Well, it all happened so quickly, and also the output. I mean, like with David Bowie in that 70s period. I mean, he basically released an album each year, produced a couple of albums, went on world tours. I mean, your early period as the Attractions had that same kind of level of intensity. What was that like, going from being at the Royal College to suddenly being in this kind of quite a tight unit, doing the tour, doing the album, back on the tour, doing all the dynamics?
I think it was, for me, it was a very good learning experience, and I think that we changed rather rapidly from the first gig that we did till maybe if you played the first gig that we played and then played the 20th gig we played, I don't think they would have sounded the same.
No, because I think the first time I saw the band, it was when you had the Pogues supporting you at the UEA in Norwich, which probably was the early 80s or 83, 84.
Right, well, I recently played for a concert that we did for Sean McGowan's birthday in Dublin.
Right.
When he was still here, and he joined in. It was a marvellous concert, and so I don't know, that song that he wrote, this one.
Oh, yes.
I've been loving you for a long time, down over years and over days. It's one of my favourite songs.
Amazing. God. And that was beautiful. And what was that tour like, having such a sort of young new band who had a lot of energy and, probably just one album?
I'm not the same person now. It's crazy to ask me this question sort of like 40 years after that happened, because I can't answer it.
No.
I'm no longer the same man. If I had known then what I know now, that would have been a completely different experience. But I was just coming round.
Yes.
I'll tell you one thing about that. Those gigs, we played at the Hammersmith Palais every weekend, I think,
yes,
on that tour with the Pogues. And of course, after a few weeks, the police realised that there were quite some drunken people coming out of that place at the end of the concert. And it so happened that after, I don't know if it was the third week or something, I came out of the concert after hanging about in the dressing room for a long time and walked straight into the arms of the law.
Right.
And spent the night in the nick that was just next door,
That's a bit rash. That was a bit rash. Then, I mean, just...
That's what we got.
Yes, this is happening. And obviously, I mean, how did can you remember how the 80s kind of shaped you at all at that point? Because, it was quite a decade that had a very particular beginning and sort of a movement.
I was going to show you some things from that period, actually.
Oh, yes.
For example, there was a moment where I started to have where these characters dropped in.
Oh, yes.
The Perils Plastic. So this was a project I did with Steve Allen of Deaf School.
Oh, yes.
we got together and did this project. Our first record that was released slipped into the charts the first week, but managed to slip out unnoticed the second week. And then after that it was a great experience. We recorded a whole album that is sitting on a shelf somewhere in the vaults of WEA.
WEA. God, I think I did an interview with him.
I don't even have a copy of it myself, but it was,
oh my God,
it was really great fun.
I would imagine, actually. Did you enjoy the kind of 80s? I was just thinking, politically, it all got a bit tense during the sort of...
it did, and we did get a bit tense with it.
Yes. Well, it sort of, it started with the Falkland War, then the miners' strike, and there was Greenham Common, and then there was this kind of starting to...
We did a lot of benefit concerts during that period, and I remember we played, what was it, for the miners?
Yes, there was a lot of...
Anyway, yeah.
Yes. So how did you meet Steve, by the way? How did he come into your orbit at that stage? Because this was the mid-80s.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think, how did I meet him? I recorded a song of mine, and I wanted someone else to sing it. And his name popped up, and we got together, and we really enjoyed working together, and we did this whole collaboration,
Well, I suppose with Deaf School, it did sort of have a certain...
Yeah, it was probably through that link with Clive Langer, actually.
Yes. And did you, as that decade progressed, there was quite a lot of different musical styles and different change up, like there was was it the King of America? And then there was Blood and Chocolate, How did that, can you remember how that felt, sort of being in a band and sort of reacting to different circumstances that were sort of occurring at this point? Musically?
Well, I think each album that you do has got a story behind it. I'm going to tell you in a moment about this album.
Oh, good. Tell us about...
Honestly.
Steve Nieve.
I've got them all up here on the piano.
Oh, about...
This is a collaboration that I've done with a young man called Kessada.
Yes.
And the title of our concert that we're doing this year is called About Love.
Right.
So I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute, and maybe I think I can hear that he's arrived in the house, so you might want to say hello to him.
Oh, well, I would, yes, absolutely. My God, you've got quite a busy schedule coming up. Yeah, no, I was just kind of curious. Did you feel ever, as a musician, a sort of sense of sort of, I don't know, insecurity at times of what's going to happen next, or what will be the next project?
This is a feeling that we have sometimes when we're not quite sure what the future's bringing, but no.
Not at all.
Not really, no.
Yes.
It's true that I'm making a lot of records by myself, and when I'm doing those, I'm sort of I decide what I'm doing and what it's all about. But when you're playing in a band and you're basically playing someone else's ideas, you've got to understand them, and you've got to be behind them.
Yes.
So it takes time for that to be communicated to everyone and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Was there certain... to be honest, there's just one song that was quite... I find it hard to play now because it was so sort of hard at the time. And I was working in a place where my boss, his marriage was breaking down, and he got the album Blood and Chocolate, and there was a particular track on it called I Want You that he would play in a slightly torturous way, and it was all a bit real. And so... that song itself is quite horrendously raw, and his wife was having an affair, and it was like, Jesus, I wish you'd stop playing this song. Can you remember much about doing that track?
Well, actually, that song is one of the songs that I play with Kessada.
Right. That'll
So
that'll pick the house up.
yeah, no, he has worked extremely hard on a lot of the songs, a lot of Elvis's songs, and
Right.
that one I think was quite troublesome to become an interpreter of.
Right.
But if you come to one of our shows, you can.
I can go back to 1986 again, feeling uncomfortable with my boss having his heart broken.
Well, you might feel something different when you hear this version because
Is it a bit lighter?
It's our own version. I don't think it's lighter, no.
Oh, good. It just felt torturous, and it just brings still, only 40 years later, it still has a sort of you can only play songs like that only occasionally, can't you?
Even with Elvis, we don't play that every night, and we only play. It could come up at any moment, but when we do play it, we are all equally involved in the tension that goes with that song.
Yes. God, that must have been exciting. Then, so you might have forgotten this as well, but the next time I saw you was at Glastonbury Festival. What was your memories like of festivals at this point? Did you enjoy them?
I think I always have enjoyed that kind of thing, yeah.
Yes.
We've done, there's an amazing festival in Japan that we've played several times called the Fuji Rock Festival.
Right.
And it's a festival I really like playing because I love Japan. Gives us the opportunity to visit a country that's so special and wonderful. And I've managed to do the Fuji Rock Festival with Kessada on a couple of occasions.
Fantastic. So how did you come across Kessada?
How did I come across? Well, when he was knee-high to a grasshopper, I started to give him some piano lessons. And then the next thing I knew, he was starting to play the drums. And that was when I realised that the piano wasn't going to do it for him. But he has retained a lot of that knowledge. You can get around the keyboard.
Yes.
And now he's, well, not now, but several years ago, he started to make the human voice his main instrument. And this has been great because we've been doing concerts together, and we do our own songs, and we also play some of Elvis's songs and some songs by people that we really love.
Right.
And little by little, this has developed into something that's not really, it's not really a concert of songs. It's called About Love, but it's an idea that Muriel had. It's not theatre. We don't wear weird costumes or anything like that, but it's a continuous sort of narrative.
Right.
That people go on a journey with us via our songs, the songs that we love of Elvis, and the songs of other artists that we love, like Tom Waits and that.
Right.
And it goes on a sort of journey, and it's only taking place in very small environments. So we haven't tried to do it at the Fuji Rock Festival yet.
No, that sounds, it would be quite, you'd lose the intimacy on that, wouldn't you?
Yes. Because sometimes, we walk through the audience singing, and sometimes we involve them in what we're doing.
My God, how do you involve them?
How do we involve them? But they sing with us.
Right, my God. So it's quite a holistic kind of environment that you create.
And we're doing 2 concerts in the UK that we hope people will come to. One is at the Liverpool Philharmonic.
Right.
On the 17th of April.
Mm-hmm.
On the 18th of April, we are playing at the West what's it called? Sorry.
Oh, yes, I know. The Walthamstow one?
No. What's that? The name of the club? West Hampstead Arts.
The West Hampstead Heart Centre.
Yes, you can edit that hesitation out for me.
Well, I see. Yes, that's okay. So you've got 2 dates and do you already have
We've
your
got a third date, which is very important because we're going to do About Love in Eltham, where my mother is living. She's 91, and so we're doing a private concert for my mother and her friends at the care home where she lives.
God, that's going to be one of the best concerts of your life, I'd imagine.
Well, I must say that it's on the horizon, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I'm not surprised. And have you got your set list sorted out for this event?
We have various set lists. I mean, the thing is, this all began during the COVID lockdown. I started, first of all, just playing the piano, and it was called the Daily Improvisation. And little by little, my partner Muriel came in, and Kessada came in, and so we changed the name of it to the Immobile Tour, and we did a concert every night with a different set list.
Right. So you
we'd wake up in the morning and have long discussions about what we were going to do, and in a way, it became a sort of we became like kind of medicine for people who were suffering terribly because of the lockdown, and who suddenly found this thing that they could tune into each day. And we did it every night. And we built up a sort of following of people. And sometimes we would have a theme, like, the theme today is going to be songs you can drink.
Right.
Or, whatever it was. And then we'd put the set list together. So this is how it all started. And this is why it's not really a conventional concert, because it's a three-way thing.
Right.
So I can see Muriel standing there, and Kessada's here. Would you like to say hello to him?
Well, absolutely. So, Steve, because you've got these releases on Spotify, are there more? Because you got from 22, you got Piano Day, then Keyboard Jungle, then Piano Day 23, Piano Day 24, and then Piano Nights 26. Are these all the? Have you got more, or are these all the ones you've been doing in the last 5 years?
These the Piano Day albums are basically instrumental piano albums.
Yes.
Or play some synthesizers and things like that. So they are. The first one I did, I think, was the 22 one, which was just when the Russians started to invade the Ukraine. And so that was heavily on my mind, and I think on everybody's mind. And so there are tracks on there that are kind of me thinking about that, and I think there's a version of the Ukrainian national anthem on there.
Yes, and you got a track called "The Ukraine Isn't Dead" and "War
This
Brings."
year, the record that I've released, Because Things Are So Black, is called Piano Night.
Yes.
But hopefully it's a bit more positive than that.
And did you keep the recordings of these COVID concerts? Are they still available on any of your?
Now, at the time, they were videos on Facebook and Instagram, simulcasts.
Right.
Then, what's it called? Meta
Yes.
notified everybody in the world that they were going to take off all live performance videos at a certain date. And so I did take the trouble to download them all, and I've got them all safely stored on a hard disk.
Oh, good. Oh, but not available. Yes.
I think they removed everybody's live videos.
Yes, that was very mean of them, really. So yes, have you got your singer here?
I've got my singer here, and he wants to say hello to you.
Yes, well, I'm curious actually to hear and see.
Here he is.
Hello
Hi.
there. Hello, all the way
Very
from
nice to
Norwich
meet
in the
you.
UK. Yeah, so I was just talking to Steve there, and you do an amazing version of "I Want You" from the album Blood and
When we
Chocolate.
did that, it was a duet, wasn't it, with, what's her name?
It was with the daughter of this famous writer.
Yeah.
What's that?
Sophie Oster.
Right, Sophie Austin. Okay, then, yes.
So that was the first time we did it. We've done it since, but that gave the thing of it becoming a duet.
Yes.
Yes.
That's already a funny way to change a song. Just make it a duet and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like Sonny and Cher, I guess. But I mean, lyrically, this is a little bit more dense. How do you find singing such kind of emotive lyrics? Because that's one of those songs that bring back, troubled memories of I was saying to Steve about my boss whose wife was having an affair and he was having a breakdown, and he would put this album on and torture himself with I Want You, and I'd have to listen to it going, oh God, I wish we'd stop. I just wondered how you interpret that kind of particular song and those lyrics.
Oh, well, let's just say that in my life, not every relationship has been rosy. And I've been able also to experience what, of course, in a much smaller way, what you experienced and when you said. But I definitely drew from that. Actually, it was strange because when I first heard the song, I was like, I can't listen to it. It created a lyrical stress on me, and then after little by little I saw why it was creating this from memory, from something that happened to me also, and so I made it my own because I wanted to sublimate, to get all these things out, these feelings. So it was pretty easy because it's a great song and he's an amazing singer and lyric writer. So
yes, and Steve was saying you got 3 dates coming into the UK in April, one in London, one in Liverpool, and then one in a care home. I mean, what's the set list that you've got at the moment? What have you put together?
Well, if I tell you, it wouldn't be a surprise.
It wouldn't be a surprise.
Show. But the main thing that we wanted to do with Steve, if you don't mind, when we did the About Love tour, a concert in the U.S., it's true that even though there was some Elvis songs, we also were more targeting American artists, and we want to change the set list to include artists from the UK that we've also covered during the Mobile Tour backstage. So there is going to be maybe some talk or elements like of this part of the set that we've done. There is also going to be maybe some squeeze, maybe some interesting things here and there.
Right, my God.
We are both big Mark Hollis fans. So.
Yes. Did you, with the Mark Hollis and Talk, did you ever find yourself thinking, God, I wish the production was slightly different on those albums, if only they could have been given a bit more of a earthy quality? Or do you like the production?
Well, I must say that song, what's it called?
It's My Life.
It's My Life. It sounds amazing, no? I mean, that the bass piano, that is a very 80s production, but it's a good one,
Yes.
I mean, it's no good blanketly saying the 80s were terrible.
Oh God, I wouldn't go that far. But there was a mainstream production sound, wasn't there? That Trevor Horn.
Technology grew up, and that happened at a certain stage of that growing up. But
if you listen to April the 5th, for example, there is a huge part of Mark Hollis' work that is so personal and non-mainstream and so intimate and dark, and not at all with this lively a band feel with drum and bass and guitars and everything, where it's much more it's more emotional and fragile. So
that solo album that he did, Mark Hollis,
right,
incredible album of
yes,
nothing to do with those
productions. No, it's just the 80s had a little bit of that kind of shininess, didn't it? A gated reverb sound that sort of felt a little bit like, ooh. And when recently David Bowie had a few of his albums remixed, and they sounded a little bit better, and the version that he did of Loving the Alien that he did on his reality tour sounded so different to the track that was on, I think, Tonight. And it just felt people got a bit caught up with that production during that period.
Right.
Yeah.
We got a bit caught up with what's the movie about the rabbit? The German version of Heroes.
Oh, you know Jojo Rabbit?
Yes.
In the end credit, there is this German version of Heroes,
Fantastic.
which is fantastic.
Yes. And you mentioned Elvis in connection of going to America. Did you see the latest Baz Luhrmann film of Elvis, Epic?
Yes.
And I want to go and see Mega. Do you know what that is?
No.
No. So while he was making the Elvis, Baz Luhrmann, they sent him all sorts of reels of film of Elvis, obviously. And so out of that stuff, he has his team, the Baz Luhrmann team, have put together a documentary about Elvis, which is called Mega. And there's a whole concert that was filmed but without sound.
Right.
And then they have managed to find the appropriate sound from other things, and somehow they've put this whole thing together, and so there is a completely brand new Elvis concert contained in this film.
Blimey. That's
technology great.
And it's supposed to be amazing, you know. So I think it's out at it's just going around the cinemas.
Oh no, I've only just come across Epic, the one that he's just done, which was all because what I liked about hearing about the way they did it was that it was in the Warner sort of archives, which is an assault mine somewhere, that were just like boxes and reels of these kind of Elvis interviews and concerts.
Maybe I got maybe that's what I'm talking about.
We might be
Epic
talking.
and mega is just adjectives who sound approximately the same. So,
yes.
We are talking about the same film, aren't we?
Yeah, we could well be. Yeah.
Elvis Presley is called Elvis Presley in Concert, Epic.
Okay.
Right. And it's just been at the cinema in the UK. So yes, if you see it, it will blow your socks off actually on that front. So on these dates in the UK in April, then what other artists will you be covering at this stage if you're sort of not doing your American people?
Okay, so
I will be covering Kessada.
Yes.
I'll be covering Steve,
and he'll be covering me. There's that. But
okay, so there are. We of course want to keep a few surprises, but Steve and I we also love to give each other challenges on songs that neither I know and he doesn't, or he knows and I don't, and we like also to push ourselves to discover new worlds, new horizons, and I think we're going to try also to bring some of that new tension and creative tension to the show for the UK.
Well, yeah.
One thing we need to find is that we did 10 about loves in the New York, Boston side of America, and we found this song of Country Roads, the John Denver song.
Classic.
For some reason, this song really federated the audience completely, and it resonated with the people at that time. And so we would like to find the English equivalent of that. So if any of your listeners have an idea of what song that would be, they could maybe write to you and you could communicate that to us. I would
imagine something from Richard Thompson's back catalogue. I don't know.
Richard Thompson, right. Okay.
He's written some very heartbreaking love songs. He's good at heartbreak and loneliness and being misunderstood. I don't know. It's kind of tricky. I mean, with that, just going back slightly to your experience with Burt Bacharach, did you work on Painted from memory from all through that project?
Yes.
And what was that like?
Well, it was wonderful to be in the same room as Burt and Elvis working together, and not only was that wonderful, but then later on when we made Look Now, we invited Burt to play piano on one of the tracks, and I played organ. He came back to the studio, that was quite a long time after we'd done Painted from Memory. And we worked together again. So, he's an amazing musician. When you read about how he started and what he's done, it's just incredible that we got to work with him.
Yes, it was
an experience I will never forget.
I would imagine. And those concerts you did in London, were they enjoyable, or did they sort of come off as you expected?
They were not easy concerts to do because they all involved an orchestra that had to be rehearsed in sort of without really the time to rehearse it as you would probably like. So you could just have time to rehearse certain phrases in each song that you knew were going to be troublesome, which we had to do each time we did that concert. And the other thing is that we didn't get to do enough. I don't know how many concerts we did, but we did London. Well, I don't know. I haven't got the tour in front of me, but
there wasn't many.
I got on doing that show, but it was good for me because I got on doing a tour with Elvis, which was just, Elvis and me playing those songs.
Yes, well, it was an album that was on our soundtrack for at least most of that year, which, yes, it kind of grew on us, so we sort of grew to love it, which is quite unbelievable. So then, so with your latest release that came out, which is called, was it Painted? Piano Nights.
Piano Nights.
So was this on your own sort of Bandcamp page, or do you put your music out on Bandcamp?
I did with this one, and it's the first time I've done it, actually.
Right.
I don't really know how it works, Bandcamp. I'm investigating it.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see, but I do know that my friend Elvis is a big fan of Bandcamp.
Right.
And he tells me that he buys, in fact, because I follow him, I get notified every time he buys an album on Bandcamp.
God, that's quite interesting.
So, he buys most of his music on Bandcamp because that's where he says the most interesting musicians are.
Right, yes, so that's it. So will you be playing any of this on your tour that's coming up in April, or is this a totally different project to what you two are doing?
It's a different project, but you never know what is going to get played.
No.
What is going to be slipped in there.
Yes. Do you keep each other?
It feel like a dangerous, place to be. It's like it's cool because it's unexpected.
Yes, actually, it's surprisingly you do look a bit like Elvis, actually, don't you? A young Elvis, yeah.
Oh,
Presley, not Costello.
I needed some glasses and a hat.
No, sorry, I realised we've got two Elvises in it, but no, the Presley in Vegas look, not the latter period, but the earlier period of Vegas.
I thank you so much for clarifying the time period, because there was definitely a lot of changes physically.
There was a lot of time. And how do you find working with Steve then, with his kind of amazing back catalogue and different work? Has this been an interesting experience for you?
Working with Steve, I consider him not only a teacher and a mentor, but also someone who gave me my first instruments, my first feel to music, on how to write music, on what to avoid. I remember when I was starting drums, my main drummer that I love was Joey Jordison from Slipknot.
Right.
And I got so much different pieces on my drums. And at one point, Steve says, if you want to be a great drummer, remove everything, just stay with one snare, one kick, one hi-hat, and take care of this first.
Right.
And then the rest will follow. And he's someone that I've followed his instructions and his guidance throughout, I think, all my music career. And he's the one also who gave me my first chances on stage. He took me to Japan, and he helped me discover who I was as a musician. So I owe him pretty much everything that I am as a composer and a musician.
Yes. What
So
was
not a lot, you know.
what was playing in America like?
What?
I said, what
It's
was
nice to have. It's nice to have, someone who feels that what you say is important and follows it and says something like that.
Yes. Well,
I would say that most of his music is coming from his own brain, not.
But okay, so for example, he in a world where everything is auto-tuned, pro-tooled, everything it has to be pitch perfect and everything like this. One of the things that he taught me that I want to always go on is when I record lyrics, I love to have emotion in the voice. And when you do recording sentence by sentence, you lose that feel. So he really taught me to try to do full takes of the song to really get in the music and get into the words. And so I've always used this, what people would call vintage technique. I don't think so. I think it's more an emotional way of recording music.
Right. So, yes. Well, there you go. So you went from piano to drums to vocals and songwriter.
I pretty much dabbled into a lot of stuff. Now there's also guitar, there's bass, there's a lot of different instruments. Now with a MIDI keyboard, you can also play bagpipes. So there's no limit to what you can do now.
Well, absolutely. And what was playing in America like for you then? Did you get a good reception? You said you were.
The thing is, first of all, as you can hear, I didn't go with the British accent.
No.
When I was growing up and learning English, so the accent was something not foreign for these people. But the reaction of everyone who showed up was incredibly warm, incredibly supportive, incredibly boosted by what we did. Also, a lot of them came from the Immobile Tour backstage. So they came after seeing us in this living room where we were performing, and so they were so excited to be able to have a direct human connection to this music and this catalog.
Yes. And what was your set list like in the States? You said.
So the set list we had different concerts. The idea is that for all the concerts we were trying to mix it up a little bit depending on the places where we were playing.
Yes.
So,
can I say something? Elvis's set list quite usually ends with a certain song.
Yes.
Which is Peace, Love and Understanding. That's always the sort of, not always, but mostly. So last year when we were doing About Love, we decided that would be our starting point.
Yeah.
So there you go. We were opening with Peace, Love and Understanding.
Nice. It's one to get the emotions up, isn't it? Really. I just wondered.
Brilliant song.
It's a beautiful song.
In a great way also because we were arriving from the back of the stage, so the back of the audience, and Steve was playing this tiny little accordion called a mignon, a cutie essentially, which is about this thick, and he was just playing like this, and we were walking through the audience, and starting with this, automatically people were connecting with the message that we were trying to speak about, especially when it's such a dark timeline right now.
Well, absolutely. Yes, this is good. Do you enjoy having that intimacy with an audience and sort of anything can happen, kind of encouraging them to sort of join in, as you said, singing?
Yes, I do.
The choir.
Very much.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, as you said, Steve, before, we highly encourage people to sing with us and be a part of the show and be a part of the concert, and that they feel that this is a moment where every person in this audience is connected by art and creativity and beauty, you know.
Yes. So when you put your set list together, you start obviously with Peace, Love and Understanding. Is there an arc that you're trying to subtly put together with your tracks that you've compiled?
Well, there's a number of things that we want to include, and there's a thread, but we leave all of that to Muriel to.
Right. Good. So how does Muriel put that together then?
Well, we give her a big bag of song, and then she helps build the structure of the show with a sort of story, because she's a screenplay writer, and she's a director, and she did all of these amazing jobs of knowing how to make a story feel cohesive and in going in the right way. So with all of the music that we have, she has a theme, and she has a way to build this story that we want to speak about during those live performances.
Yes, and has the political landscape sort of put a sort of added sort of narrative into your set list as well?
You mean for the American shows?
Well, just live, just generally. I think we're all
shows. I mean, yeah, we just had a historical vote yesterday, and Paris retained its green ecologic stance, and that's good. That's why I'm drinking this green beverage.
Well, yes. I mean, it's good to sort of feel a certain amount of relief when you woke up this morning, I would imagine.
Yes, we want to wake up with fresh air to breathe, and that's what we want.
I know it might all be a bit woke, but it is quite nice for the lungs to be able to sort of breathe or drink clean water. There you go. Are you going to put any music go in the studio and release an album together?
Well, this is what we have made an album.
Oh yes, show us your album.
This is the album. It's called About Love, like the tour.
Yes. And
it's available everywhere. But originally it was a very limited edition of vinyl.
Right.
Well, I think we will bring a few of the remaining copies with us if anybody wants the vinyl.
Right.
We will have it with us. We're also searching out a record store, because one of our gigs is on Record Store Day.
Perfect.
Which is April the 18th.
Right.
It's Record Store Day. So,
that will be it. And and sort of after April, what's your next plans that you've got sort of in the pipeline?
Do I say it? Okay.
Oh God, exciting! This is an exclusive.
This is the exclusive.
So for my part, and I wish Steve could come, but it's literally at the moment where he's touring with Elvis, so he cannot be on the stage with me. But I'm headlining a festival in Taiwan, and it's going to be fantastic. And we're working with the French community of the French government to be able to play there, to sort of advertise French and European culture in the island of Taiwan, going to Japan also after. And my EP also is finished, so it's definitely going to come out quite soon. And, just looking for the right house to push it forward.
Right. God, that's going to be exciting, actually. So when's your tour?
And Elvis is going to be coming also in Europe, and especially to Paris at the Olympia.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm heading out there with Elvis in June. But just to finish up on this, we did find a record shop, which you might have heard of. It's called Banquet Records.
Right.
It's in Kingston. And I'm just started talking to them, so I'm hoping this is going to happen. But, the funny thing is, though, they have a record label.
Right, so that could be useful.
So Kessada, that might be an opportunity.
Well, this is a message in disguise.
Yes, subtly done. And Steve, so you're with Elvis from June right through until July, playing all over England and Europe.
We're going to be playing for about 5 years, non-stop.
Right.
Is the plan. It's that we haven't announced the entire tour, but it's going to be earth-shattering.
Yes.
Blimey, you're going to have
Taylor Swift better behave.
Of course, I'm exaggerating.
Well, absolutely. How do you're not having many nights off. How do you cope with such an intense schedule?
Well, actually, when we're touring, I play less than I normally do at home.
Right.
Because at home I can play all afternoon.
Yes.
He does.
Oh, there you go. Well, hopefully we'll catch you in when you're down in sort of London area, actually.
Yes,
We hope to see you there.
Yes.
Great if you can come along.
But we'll try. But anyway, look, thank you ever so much for this. And
West
yes,
Hampstead Arts Club.
that's it. I think he's Terry, isn't it?
On the 18th, April the 18th.
Yes.
Right. Tickets still available.
Very, very super little club with very nice people running it, and I'm really looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, it'll be good. Well, I hope you'll have a good time. Anyway, look, thanks for your time. This has been amazing. Thank you, Steve.
Great. Thank you for having us.
So, will you write to me and tell me when it's coming out? And
I will. I'll drop you an email.
Okay.
Okay, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Right.
Take care.
Good
Bye-bye.
talking to you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. And that was me in conversation with Steve, Nieve, and also Kessada talking about their musical project. This has been the C86 Show, David Eastaugh. If you want to contact me, you can on any of the social media platform sites. Just do C86 Show. Have a great week. Stay safe.